All right, there are three types of people in the world. There are those who are not in shape and complain about not being in shape. There are those who exercise and get in shape, and then there's those who exercise and complain about not being in shape. That's the opening line of Gunnar Peterson's book, The Workout. Gunnar, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me
your time. I think we all know people like that, don't we?
Yeah, we all know them, or we have all been that person at one time or another.
Yeah, I think I drift between number 2 and number 3 and probably stuck in number 1 right now.
Well, there's the upside is you can always make changes, and you can always start, and you can always ramp up, and you can pull back, and you are the driver of your own car.
Gunnar, I was going through your book yesterday, and you've got some great workouts there, and you break it down into 4 Fs.
Mm-hmm. What are those Fs?
Form, function, I have it here, freedom and focus.
What? Woo! He is on it. He looked at the book, no cheat sheet, no cue card. That's good. That's right.
So how did you define it that way? And you've also then, of course, the workout, you break it into 13 steps, but you really try to define it
right,
for
13
people.
major movements, and I actually, the only criticism I got from the book so far was one guy said, you don't include deadlifts or something. I said, well, I understand that, but it's a move that we can move towards. But the main movements, your chest can do a fly motion or it can do a press motion. Everything after that is a doctored version of one of those, which is great because it gives you ways to constantly change the workout, which forces your body to adapt, which makes the change happen that you went there seeking in the first place.
All right, so a lot of us have office jobs. How can we, we're stuck in the 9 to 5, we're busy, don't have time for workouts. What can we do during the day to kind of, utilize what we have at our disposal?
Well, I think the first thing we should clarify is that I looked at your facility here with the basketball courts, the running track, and the impeccably equipped fitness center, and there's no reason anybody here.
He's paring down my excuses.
No, I'm whittling away. That's what I do. But if you're just stuck in the office, if you have an open space like this, I'd say you stash a couple of pair of dumbbells, maybe a set of 12s and a set of 25s, and you can do probably any move out there. If you're just relegated to body weight, you can go from push-ups to squats to single leg squats to any form of a crunch to any form of a dip. I mean, there are no excuses in this office. This office is a gym.
And how big of a difference will this make? How much will this add up over time? It's just the little things we're talking about.
It is the little things. I mean, all the way from parking far away and walking, taking the stairs, those things do add up over time. The key is to make choices outside of your workout time that pay off too. If you're, it's like I have clients who train with me 2-3 hours a week, max. There's 168 hours in a week, guys. The other 165, that's on you. You got to make some good choices at the table. You got to make sure you're hydrated. You got to make sure you get your sleep. The little things like making up mini workouts here in your office, a mini circuit, you can definitely stay at bay. You can definitely remain static with your body, and you can even make improvement if you're coming from a completely sedentary lifestyle. So don't think it's a joke.
And I felt kind of guilty discovering how much coffee I was drinking as opposed to how much water I should be drinking. You're talking, hey, drink when you're thirsty, drink a lot.
But I would tell you also on the coffee, I don't set out to make anybody feel guilty, and I certainly don't sit in judgment, but the way I would start you is have your coffee and then have the water. Have your coffee, then have a water. Have another coffee, then have a water. Over time, you're going to be so full, you'll pare down the coffee. You just will.
And you also mentioned eating a bite of green every other bite.
Bite of green every other, yeah. It's a great way to do it at the table, especially for people. And I know there are people locally here who never even had a salad. And I'm not talking about a local population. I'm talking about within your office. And that was confided to me, so I feel comfortable.
Gunnar, I am still in shock. I can't believe he actually came out and admitted that.
He did. He did tell me that. But he didn't have to have a whole salad. He could have just had a side of vegetables and gone meat, green, meat, green, meat, green, and he would have been much better off than going meat, potato, meat, fry, that kind of thing.
Let's get back to that conversation you had with this unnamed person, because he was also guiding you through the menu and saying, what should I do? You broke it down in the book and said, think how people used to eat.
Back in the day.
Back in the day,
You don't want to say his name because that's indiscreet,
well,
Ryan. But you think about how people ate, the hunter-gatherer. You live off the land and you eat things closer to their natural state. Like when you're in the supermarket, shop on the perimeter. Don't go into the middle. Don't get sucked into the vortex, because that's where all the processed foods are, all the chemical foods, all the foods that your body goes, what am I doing with this? I can't break it down. I don't have the enzymatic setup to handle this food, so I'm just going to store it as fat. And that's where you do yourself a disservice.
One of the things I really liked, and this will be my last question, was I'm a big meat eater, and you said eat things with the fewest amount of feet, I guess. I'm paraphrasing. Fish, meaning, and then chicken, and then beef. Pretty interesting.
Well, it's a way to look at it. I mean, I have clients who say, help me with a diet, and I'm happy to break it down from a macronutrient standpoint, meaning protein, carb, fat. But if we're going to get into very detailed diets, I would send you to a nutritionist or to a supplement expert. But when I do that, they go, great, great. What's the protein? And so you say you got to give them something that they can work with when they leave the gym. It's everything. It's anything that ever had a face. And if you think of it like that, first of all, it may turn you off from eating some of it.
Yeah, you're right.
But at least you can look at that and go, head of lettuce. Nope, never had eyes and a nose. I'm good with that. You know, it allows you. You got to give people information that they can use and that translates to them and that they can make work for them when they're outside the gym.
All right, Gunnar Peterson.